Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I was thinking about old wrestling games. Now that WWE 2K25 is pretty much done and all the official DLC has been out, I think there's Chapter 5 for the island. I think it's the last official thing coming out for it. Maybe some more My Faction stuff. But officially, 2K26 is pretty much the next game. So it got me thinking, boy, I really wish we had some sequels to some old wrestling games. So today we're going to talk about 5 wrestling games that desperately need to come back and have sequels. Without further ado, let's talk about those 5 games. So the first game on the list is none other than AEW Fight Forever. I feel like a sequel could really right the wrongs of the first game. I feel like if they could get the sequel out, or at least get another chance, Ukes could get another chance to pretty much fix or add everything that got left out or missed in the first game. Basically a full-on character creator, more match types, a better season mode where you can actually have multiple playthroughs with one wrestler rather than having to reset your stats, branching paths, universe mode, a GM mode, pretty much everything that's expected in a wrestling game these days. They tried to do too many things and stretched themselves way too thin as far as like they tried to do mini games, they tried to do story mode, they dipped their toe in every single mode they put in the game and then didn't really flush it all out. They even have a battle royale mode online, which was okay. It was something different. I feel like if everything else was on par and up to snuff with other wrestling games, even the ones in the past that have way more features than this, and I get it, this is like their first run. They were building it from scratch. They don't have 20 years of games they've been building off of. This was like level 1. And then if we got a sequel, or if they actually got to keep adding stuff to the game like they were supposed to, this game would probably be right up there with 2K competing. Still, unfortunately, I don't know what happened on the back end, but they broke ties with UK. They couldn't come to an agreement. Money ran out. I don't know what, but I'm guessing they just couldn't come to an agreement as far as money was concerned. So they did their contractual obligations to get everything done that they have originally signed for, and then they walked away. So hopefully they can mend fences and build AEW Fight Forever 2. I would love to see it. Next up is one of my personal favorites, and I wrote down Day of Reckoning series, but it's kind of the same mechanics, or it's basically the same mechanics, and that's WrestleMania 19. WrestleMania 19 is one of my favorite wrestling games of all time, right up there with Here Comes the Pain, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, and I want to say SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. The gameplay was really good, the countering system was perfect, I really liked how the grapple system worked, just the mechanics of everything, the weapons, being able to counter weapons. The Creator Wrestler was really good. I don't think they've ever done anything like this Creator Wrestler since, where you can literally take an object and place it anywhere on the wrestler, like spinning blades, a mask. You could adjust the size of the item. One of the best character creators. However, it had limited options as far as like different items to use and hairstyles and stuff like that. So I would love to see a sequel to this. And this also has one of my favorite modes, was the Revenge mode, where it basically turned the game into a brawler, a 3D brawler, like a 3D beat 'em up with wrestling characters. That's essentially what that mode is. And I was so bummed that they didn't put it in Day of Reckoning or Day of Reckoning 2. I was like, why didn't they bring that mode back? That mode was revolutionary. It was awesome. I know a lot of people just want the wrestling and this stuff, but I like it when they go outside the box. That's the kind of stuff I like, not an island mode where you're connected to the internet and they lock all the new parts and stuff behind a paywall. I don't really appreciate that. Plus, your Creator Wrestler is separate from the single player. I have a feeling they're going to fix that next year. But anyway, I just feel like we need the Revenge mode back. We need innovations like that back. And the gameplay in this is so hard-hitting and so fun. Even going back and playing it now, it still holds up to today. So I would really like a new WrestleMania series, or it became the Day of Reckoning series. So we'll say a Day of Reckoning 3 would be really cool. And not just on Nintendo, on everything. The more wrestling games, the merrier. Now, next up is a little obscure personal favorite of mine, and that is the Ultimate Muscle, or Kinnikuman, as it's known in Japan. And this anime is one of the coolest wrestling anime. Basically, think of Dragon Ball Z, but wrestling. That's what this was. It's one of the most bizarre and fun wrestling games I've ever played. It had a really terrible creative character. I was really hoping we'd get a sequel, but I'm assuming these games sold absolutely terribly here in the States because their translations of the anime, the American translations of it, kind of made him a bubbling buffoon, and the voice acting was really bad. It just really made it terrible. Like, that's how you were going to introduce it to the American audience, then I feel like you should have really, like, just, you should have just left the Japanese voices in there. Like, I feel like if they brought it back today, which they did, there is a Netflix series on Netflix that's really, really good. I encourage you all to watch it. It's crazy. Wrestlers die in it. It's absolutely brutal. It's literally like Dragon Ball Z with wrestling. They fight to the death. And don't let this cartoony look fool you. It's crazy. And the games are really fun. It's, like I said, it was so different, so unique. I just want a sequel to this. I would love to see it. Love to see it come back on modern consoles. Heck, they can even just redo this one in a remake. And I'd buy it right away. Now, next up is an all-female wrestling game called Rumble Roses. And I feel like the industry would be more accepting of this now because we're kind of getting away from the whole agenda pushing thing. I'm just going to try to put it lightly. Like, I feel like there's room for this now. There's room for an all-female wrestling game. It doesn't have to necessarily be as sexualized as the original. They could actually turn it into something really cool and make it a legit wrestling game. This was made by Ukes, and it's one of the most bizarre and fun wrestling games out there. Now, it was very clunky and took some time to get used to, but once you learn the mechanics and the positioning and how to wrestle and do all the moves, it was actually a very deep wrestling game. The character creator was absolutely terrible, so I would hope they'd improve upon that. But I feel like it's a perfect time to bring this back. We need more wrestling games. I feel like the wrestling community would eat this up, and if they could really team up with something like WoW Wrestling, or just get the female wrestlers from, let's say, AEW. I'm sure AEW would team up with them. There's so many other wrestling companies. New Japan Wrestling. Just name it in the comments. I'm having a brain fart here, but there's so many female wrestling organizations that they could go pull from to get people in the door, and then they can have them wrestle their characters that are in the game. Do a crossover. Because these characters are so cool, it sucks that they only got 2 games to shine. I was really hopeful that we get a 3rd game, and it wasn't locked to a certain system. It sucks that this game, even though you can still play it on the Xbox Series X and S, it's backwards compatible. You can go buy it right now. It sucks it never got released on PC, on PlayStation 4 or 5. It's stuck on the old Xbox and the Xbox ecosystem. I really hope that somebody brings at least the first 2 games up to modern consoles with a re-release or remaster, something. We need it. I really want this game back. Now, the last game on this list is my absolute most wanted sequel, and we almost had it, but the team that made the first game totally dissolved. They don't even exist anymore. That's probably why we didn't get the sequel, if my memory serves me well. But this is, to me, this is the wrestling game, the dream wrestling game I've always wanted. But we needed a sequel. We needed another one. And no, Battlegrounds was nothing like this. Just watch this gameplay and you'll see Battlegrounds is clearly nothing like this. They took the fighting game idea and used the wrestling mechanics and melded it perfectly. You can do combos, you can do wrestling moves, and it was super over the top. Even the way they look, I really liked, because they look like action figures. They look freaking awesome. Of course, Ultimate Warrior, to me, is the best one. If they made a sequel, they could have way more of the modern wrestlers in it, because there was a very small cast. I mean, look at this. You could juggle them in the air. It's just so fun. And at the very least, re-release it on modern consoles. All these wrestlers that are in this game, I believe, are still under contract, except for Edge. I have to go look at the roster again, but I'm pretty sure everybody that was in this game has a Legends contract or is contracted under WWE, so they could bring this back. Give it a nice shiny new coat, add some female wrestlers in there like Rhea Ripley, now that we're doing cross gender wrestling, or mixed gender, intergender, whatever the heck it's called. That would be perfect, and this game would sell like crazy because it'd be something different. We desperately need something different. Anyway, so these are the 5 games I would love to see come back. I'm curious what your list is. Sound off the comments below. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay frosty.